Hello to all you yids out there. This is the Heart Now Here Spurs Fans Podcast, a podcast from a bunch of yids to all you yids around the world. And we are recording this about an hour after a game at Anfield where I think after what happened against Atletico Madrid and what the guys were talking about midweek, we were dreading. But personal opinion before we go into it, from minute 1 to minute 90, I saw enough fight there, especially from a couple of them, especially from someone who likes to do a bit of the chicken, that made me go, this might turn around. It's myself, Lee Tarrier, Kevin Dennis, Matty Kerr, TJ Smith on the way. How you doing, boys? You all right?
All good, mate. All good. You?
I'm a lot better now. I mean, do you know what? I'm going to be honest, and obviously I'll go to you. Like I felt we were really good in that game, and I'm almost, don't want to sound too brash or arrogant, but I'm almost gutted that it was a point because I felt we were the better team. But yeah, how you guys feeling?
I'm good. I think it's Kev lost us. No, I feel good, Lee, mate. I feel good, mate. Different, innit? Different mindset. It feels weird now, actually being positive on the pod at the minute. Like it's going to feel very weird today, Lee. I've missed it.
I know. You mean it's been nice to do it. But I mean, you look at this, Kev. We had no Van der Ven, no Romero, no Polina. We've never had Madison this season. Kulusevski, Bergval. You know, all the catalogue of errors that happened against Atletico. What did you really think was going to happen today, Kev? Did you think we'd go out and get something?
No, I don't think there'd be a Spurs fan out there that thought we was going to get anything. I'd be very, very surprised at that if there was. I mean, I saw the list of the players we had out before the game, and I think it's probably a better 11 than what we've got going out there at the moment. So, I mean, I was like everyone else. The boys in the group chat before, I predicted 5-0, 6-0. I thought it was going to be an absolute drubbing. Like, I don't watch Liverpool much. I catch them when they're on like live, obviously when they're on a live game on Sky. I'm in a different group chat with. He's got a Liverpool fan in it, and he seems to cunt them quite a lot and say they have been quite poor this year. And I think maybe watching that game, I mean, give us some credit. I think we were good, especially the second half. I thought we were really good. But
yeah, I agree.
At the same time, I don't think Liverpool were at their best. But listen, you can only play what's in front of you, and obviously with the chips being down against us as much as they are in every department you can think of at the moment, to go up there and get a point, it's a massive point. It's a massive result. And it's just maybe laying the foundation probably for our two next games that are probably our biggest games of the season in terms of in the Champions League and then obviously the Forest game, which is big. So, but at the same time, I don't think we can get carried away too much. I think we can revel in today and say it's a good point. It's just about going forward now and how much it can influence maybe putting a run together or even just getting a win would be nice in the league. And but I think we'll be in better nick going into them games, especially the Forest game, off the back of a draw today, then obviously getting pumped 5 or 6-0 and going into that next game. So yeah, positives, definitely. I'm sure we'll get into the ins and outs of player performances and whatnot. But yeah, a couple stood out today, like you said, Lee, who look like they might want it. And there are probably some out there today I thought shouldn't be anywhere near it next year, regardless if we survive or not. There's just players that ain't good enough at the moment in that team, and they have probably contributed to maybe where we are at the moment, along with other things. But yeah, I'm with everyone else. I'm happy. I'm shocked that we've got a point. But yeah, it's just about kicking on after that point now and hopefully putting something together against teams really that are around us now, and they're going to become so integral in games.
Yeah, massively. Because if you look, West Ham had a good result. City, they've looked on form. Obviously, won in the FA Cup as well. Forest, I know they didn't do too well in Europe, but again, they've been picking up little points here. They picked up a point. Leeds missed a penalty, but they picked up a point. So it was important that we went out there and got something today. And Matt, we've talked long and hard at you for 3 years now about Richarlison, but I tell you what, if someone's up for this fight, it's him, mate, because he was fantastic today, weren't he?
Been saying it, mate. Been saying it, mate. Listen, the geezer puts up a lot of stick and he scores. He does score, and that's the truth. I know his all-round game might not be the greatest, but I think we as a fan base, I think we have overhyped our players. I look at our strikers now at the minute with Mawani, Solanke, Richarlison. Richarlison's the only one that starts for me at the minute, and that's the truth. If we had to go with one striker, it would have only been Richarlison. He's been in this dogfight. He knows what it's about. He's the only one that plays for the badge, no matter when he plays, and that's the truth. The only thing with Richarlison, he don't stay fit. He's always injured. If he could stay fit, I honestly do think he's probably a 15 to 20 goal striker a season. I've always said that. Because, mate, how small he is, how many headers does he win? I know his hold-up play might not be great, but put the ball in the box, he's a nightmare. He's a nightmare for centre-backs.
Yeah, it's great. And the thing is, same with you just there, Matt, because I know you were saying there about one striker, but what I really like today is that, you know, there are moments that I think would want more from Solanke and whatnot, but did you see something, if you just play a couple of them up there, even when Kolo Muani came a little bit later, that when they were a handful if there's a couple of them together. Because Solanke, sometimes he doesn't get the credit because he does a bit of dog's body work and he's not always there as the sharpest striker, but he does a lot off the ball. Did you see promising stuff that makes you go, it could be that we do a Richarlison and a Solanke, or Richarlison and a Kolo Muani? We play two, because then one can bully and one can drop off, or they can both help each other out, operating and separating that role.
You see it coming back in now, don't you? Like out of possession, teams drop into a 4-4-2. So you've seen it been coming in. I thought 4-4-2 was dead and buried, mate. It's gone, but it seems to be coming back in, like out of possession. But I think we press well. I think we let Liverpool have the ball in their third, like that's fine, because they weren't going to trouble us and whatnot. But I always felt like if we get the ball in the box. We did do this under Ange, yeah. If you get the ball in the box, anything can happen, yeah.
Anything.
And I think Richarlison had so many nearly moments today, yeah. No matter how bad of a player people might think he is, he did have nearly moments, yeah. Either from corners, but we used to think like under Ange, we used to go Poro back inside, pass it around the box, go the other side. We never ever got the ball in the box, and I feel like now we're being direct, and I feel like it's a massive. It benefits us in a way. Do you know what I mean? It benefits. No defender, no centre-back wants to be defending their own goal with balls constantly coming in the box. No matter what centre-back you are, you don't want to deal with them. Simple as that. Yeah. And it's a threat, and it's something we're going to need to do. And someone just messaged on Instagram, I hope we don't change the formation in our next couple of games. We need to stick with the same formation and come away from this free at the back, because it hasn't worked. The players are not used to playing that system, so I feel like we need to stick with the same formation going forward.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind 2 up the top and 4 at the back. I wouldn't see that as a bad thing. I think one of the biggest things, Kevin, I go on to you. I don't know if this is a true stat, but if anyone's watching or listening in, can send us a comment. I read a tweet earlier, and it could be bollocks, but I thought I'd bring it up because I do want to talk about this player. But apparently 68% of all of our Premier League goals conceded have come at errors by Vicario. And I've got to be honest, his footwork today for that save was shocking. Kev, talk about him.
Yeah, not much to say, really. I think we kind of expect what he is at the moment. You know, with the Kinski thing in the week, I think we was all crying out for Kinski. And I think we're all quite disheartened that, you know, that sort of happened to him, because I think if he had a good game against Madrid, I think he'd be knocking on the door for Vicario's place. Yeah, listen, I think we all know that he's the one area that we need to sort out in the summer, regardless of what division we're in. We don't think he's good enough. I think, like what Matt's saying there, in regards to this style, it's a long ball style, but you need a keeper that can hit someone. If it's going to go long, he needs to hit someone. And a lot of times with Vicario, it is a bit of a let's just get out of my feet and let's just kick it up the field. There's no sort of direction to it. Today he was a little bit better with that. I thought he sort of reached the targets that he did, but 9 times out of 10 he's not good enough with his feet in that sense. And whether you're playing short out from the back or you're playing long, if you can't hit targets or play 10 yards with your feet, in this day and age, you're going nowhere fast as a goalkeeper. So yeah, I think we all know it needs to change. But listen, it is what it is. We've got what we've got. We're going to have to use his weaknesses to a point of our strengths. Of if he can't play out from the back, he is going to have to go long. So our forward line is going to have to fucking win them flicks and everything else and do the doggying around them kicks. But yeah, it's a place in the team that we've been questioning for a while now, and it's a shame because he's a good shot stopper. He has got that in his locker, but the other side of the game, which is so important now, he just hasn't got. So yeah, he ain't one that for me that should stick around beyond this season anyway. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, I just think like, yeah, go on.
Sorry, mate. I said in a couple of our WhatsApp chats earlier that I'm at a point now with goalkeepers at Spurs that I'm happy to put Harry Kane in goal because he'd done a little stint in goal and give him a go. Do you know what I mean? Do you remember that Europa League game? He went in goal for a little bit. I'm happy to just throw him in the sticks and see if he's any better than what we've got at the minute. Because right now, I don't know what to say or what to blame. I feel like watching Kinski and Vicario the last two games. I don't know what a goalkeeper is anymore. I can't tell
I'm worried about this in general.
I think it's harsh on Kinski. I don't know if you boys covered the Madrid game in the week, but you know, one mistake was a slip, which I think happens, and it did happen all over the pitch. Obviously, the last mistake is obviously a mistake, but I think there's a better goalkeeper in him than Vicario in terms of giving him game time. It's just a shame his confidence got shot to bits in that game because I don't know if they'll have the balls to play him again this season, which I don't think they will. But it's a shame because I think there's a good young keeper in there who's probably got a really good chance of establishing himself at our club as a number one goalkeeper. If we're not going to go and improve and buy a better one than them too, so I think it's really hard to absolutely write him off at the moment and say he's not good enough. I don't think it's right. So we'll have to see. But yeah, tough week for the boy. But I still think in the day, I think overall, I think he's probably a better goalkeeper than Vicario.
I mean, I don't think no one's bit off. I feel sorry for him. I don't think it was his fault.
Yeah, I do.
I think Tudor has to take responsibility. He's thrown him in the deep end. He's not played all season. He's just thrown him in the deep end. With regards to slipping, all the players were slipping. I don't know what footwear they were wearing, like Askies or something. I ain't got a clue what they were wearing.
Astros.
It's ridiculous. Like, you're professional footballers. Like, what is going on? You shouldn't be slipping that much on the football pitch. If it's not working, change your footwear. Like, I don't get that. But look, with Kinski, I think it all depends which manager comes in the summer. Yeah, if it's someone like Poch, Kinski could slot, I think, perfectly in that kind of like as a Lloris type goalkeeper for under Poch. But Vicario won't be there under Poch.
No, I know. I've got to be honest. Today, I look at it and I go, he's not really good playing out from the back. His footwork on set pieces isn't very strong at all. I feel like, you know, the goal kick, if you see his feet, it's like he takes one little step to the right, then gets his foot trapped as if he was in quicksand. And then he's, you know, it weren't like it was a beautiful free kick in the top corner. It was pretty.
Yeah, do you know what that is, Lee? That's just him not being comfortable in not only in his own ability, but just being unable to. I think when we watch the goalkeepers these days, wherever top league it is, no one makes it more awkward than him that I watch. I'll tell you, the Chelsea keeper's fucking terrible for it. I'd put him in that category as well, Sanchez. But there's some goalkeepers that just make it look easy. I'd say Alisson as well. Alisson's another one who can make mistakes and doesn't look comfortable with his feet. I mean, when you look back at keepers like Ederson, I think he's fantastic. The Brighton lad's good at it. I mean, there's a lot of goalkeepers now that can play with their feet, which are fantastic. But I just think it's a bit of an art now that all goalkeepers need to have. But yeah, I think with him, he just looks very robotic in it, and I think good strikers will sniff it out when someone's maybe going to drop a shoulder. I mean, Cruyff turned someone today in the fucking 6-yard box. I mean, that for me, I don't think he meant to do that, but I think it was sheer panic at the end. He didn't know what to do and just did it and got away with it. But there are just some goalkeepers that you watch and you think you just feel a bit of a hairy moment when it goes back to him. And Lloris was like that a lot as well at Spurs at times. So they really need to look at finding a good goalkeeper that is fantastic with his feet, but also has got the shot stopping ability that Vicario has got. So it's very hard to find the blend of both, you know, in today's football.
Massively. And, you know, look, it was a good match for us. It was a match that obviously we have our match days proudly sponsored by Us From Us UK and our good friends at Hotspur Heritage. TJ, Archie Gray, again, I think, young boy that, God forbid that we do go down, but this guy has got captain material about him, because he steps up to the plate each and every time.
Yeah, he's an experienced head on young shoulders. That's the only way I can describe him, really. Like, when you watch him play, it's like, and even when he speaks to the media, he gives off that, like, well-grounded kind of impression, like someone who sort of knows what's happening at the moment. And listen, like, today was a good game. I actually thought we played really well. But like, we haven't played well in recent weeks. But one of the shining lights in all of those has been Archie Gray. So I don't like. It's hard because obviously we're in the trenches at the moment, and you like the fact you're talking about Archie Gray being like one of your best players is also a negative. Do you know what I mean? The fact that we're having to rely on people like teenagers basically to kind of put in the performances and show the others how it's done.
It's like you're saying, Tej. He's had so much experience, and he shouldn't have had this much experience. But he's had so much experience at this young age, where I think it's only going to benefit us in the long term. Because when he hits 22, 23, I think he's going to be peaking like some players do at 28, 29, because he's had that much experience. I think he's.
I mean, we said it last year, didn't we? We said it last year in the Europa League game, like, and we're saying like these players and like getting this experience at this age, and they're being thrown into situations where, I mean, Archie Gray was basically played out of position all of last season. Like, the guy's a CDM, right? Plays central defense.
Oh yeah.
And he played everywhere but there last season. And then this season, obviously, it's a similar sort of story. We've had to kind of utilize him, and I think the fact that he's, just getting in there, getting the job done, and performing well as a perspective point of view, as like a comparative point of view, I think that's something that you can't knock him for. It will only, like Kev says, if we keep these players, it will only do us good for the future. But again, this is something where we're buying potential in the hope that it materializes down the line. And whilst Archie Gray's been a great performer, Bergvall, these are all people that look fantastic when they're playing. But the problem this season has been a lack of experience and lack of leadership, in my opinion.
Do you know what, Lee? Quickly, I was watching the game with Cody, and he said to me, he said, who would be your player of the season this year? And there ain't many I think there's even less to pick than there was last year. And I think he got it last year. And I think I'd have to go him again. If I had to call a player of the season for us at the moment, I would call Archie Gray. Because like you said, Tej, his versatility as well, but he just doesn't give up. He's 100% effort, plays anywhere he can, and does stellar jobs. 7 out of 10s minimum everywhere, every time he plays in whatever position he is. And to have that in your head at that age, coming from the Championship, coming from up north and coming down south to such a big club in comparison to Leeds in terms of everything we have, I think it's unbelievable. And I can see if they do get a Pochettino in next year, I think players like him will just thrive. They really would. And like I said, I think he'd be a future captain in this football club if they can keep him, because I think there'll be other clubs looking at him and thinking, I could turn that player into really something in the next couple of years if he come to my club. If he was at Man City with Pep Guardiola or something like that, I think we're very lucky to have him. And I think if the worst did happen, I think we would have trouble keeping him. But at the same time, I think if we went down and we lost a lot of players, I think he would be, weirdly enough, a senior head and a mainstayer in a team that's going to try and get us back up into the top division. I think he would lead that in terms of just what he's about. And I can't give him much more praise than that in terms of how he's applied himself to this Tottenham team since he's been in it.
No, I agree. I think he's the one that you've got to keep your hands on at all costs, and say, look, fuck it. If we was to go down, God forbid, you're the fucking club captain, because he's done more than what some of these club captains have, and I don't want to shit on anyone. I think we'll come to them, but, he has standed up and has been counted. Matt, Igor Tudor, today we got the result. He's obviously had to duck in. He, as you guys said the other day after Atletico, it was a crazy decision, and then he, brought in Kinski, took him off. anything you can add or want to talk about with Igor Tudor? What's your feelings after the draw today?
So I was adamant that we were going to lose today and he would be sacked tonight because we got a draw and it was a half decent performance. I think it's thrown me, it's probably thrown a lot of fans. I think it'll throw the ball. And I think they'll probably give him Atletico and Nottingham Forest now. And then if we lose to Nottingham Forest, I think he will go then because then it's the international break and the FA Cup weekend. So we've got like 3 weeks to our next game. But I think he'll definitely get these 2 next games. Nottingham Forest, Atletico Madrid, it's a free hit now. Just go out and play it. But the game is Nottingham Forest. And I think everyone, the fans that was at Anfield today, all of us lot, all the other Spurs lot, the point today is give us something to cling on to now going into Nottingham Forest, where before at 2 o'clock this afternoon, there was a lot of Spurs fans that probably thought, fuck it, I ain't going to Nottingham Forest next week, not a chance. That 1 point has lifted the morale and lifted the whole fan base. And that's what we need. That's what we need right now.
Mad, isn't it? The only points we've got this calendar year is against Manchester City and Liverpool. You couldn't write it as a Tottenham fan. But saying that, TJ, would you stick? The goal came from route one. We looked better when we went route one. When we went longer, when we went higher up towards Solanke and Richarlison and even Kolo Muani, we looked like we were going to get something. We know Liverpool's defence has been quite weak this season, but would you stick route one now? Against Atletico and definitely against Nottingham Forest, you're going to go, fuck it, loop it up there and let's use our big strikers to use their muscles and try and lay off others to get the goals.
I think play like what you're saying is playing to our strengths anyway. I think you're looking at players like Solanke and Richarlison, and I mean Muani. For me, I know he obviously got the assist and he actually done really well to hold the ball up, and he literally pushed Van Dijk off the ball twice, by the way, before that goal went in. And like if you're playing route one football, you're playing to our strengths because you know them boys can hold the ball up or knock it on to another one. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, I don't want to get to this point where we're just pumping it upfield and hoping it hits someone. Like, just use your common sense, right? Like, if the ball can be played and works, then do it. If you're if someone's playing a high press against you and you're under pressure constantly and you've got a goalkeeper who can't distribute the ball, just fucking go long. Like for me, it's not rocket science. This sort of stuff. It's play a certain way, but don't just hit and hope as well. Do you know what I mean? It's just use your fucking head in these situations. If you're under pressure, hit it long. If you've got to play a team that's sitting back and holding off, work the ball through the lines and look to break them on counters and offside, try and beat the offside traps and stuff like that. Just, do you know what I mean? Just play what you're against. Like, in my opinion, like you've got these strengths of these players, use them in the right situations as opposed to just that's what we're going to do every game, because it ain't going to work all the time. But against Forest, I think they're going to come at us, and I think the way we play today would suit the way we against Forest as well. I think both games would suit. I think the first goal, by the way, is crucial against Forest because they will shut up shop. If they score first, they will literally shut up at the back and just play on the counter.
But we talk about, if they do play a low block, to play through them. Kev, I'll put this to you because, and this is my personal opinion, Xavi Simons come on and I thought he was useless. And I still don't know what we've got in this player. What was your thoughts on him? And what are your thoughts on if we do have to play through a team who can do that for us?
Yeah, I mean, I said to the boys in the group chat earlier, I was like, what is his problem with not playing Simons? And I think there's been 2 managers now that didn't really fancy him. He's been on the bench quite a lot for considering the price we paid for him and what he is. He hasn't got the minutes, and you're sort of scratching your head and you're wondering why. Because he does have moments where he does get on the ball, he does excite you, he does like to drive forward. But like you're saying, if you are playing the sort of long route football, it kind of doesn't really suit him in that sense. And maybe that's why Tudor hasn't played him, because Tudor's obviously a fan of hitting long and hitting the big men up front. A bit like with Tej, it's a bit like you sort of got to play with what you're sort of up against. Do I think we're good enough to play out from the back and play through the lines on the floor? I don't. With this current setup we've got, I don't think the players are good enough to do it. I sort of didn't think I'd ever see us play sort of the long ball sort of style, the Bolton style of old with Sam Allardyce and fucking Tony Pulis at Stoke. It's become that sort of thing. But I kind of understand why at the moment. why it's happening, because I just don't think the quality is there to do it. But certain games you are going to be able to get it on the floor, and you are going to be able to drive through. And I think that's when you do bring players like Simmons on, who are good at dribbling on the ball. I think Tell was good at it today. I thought Tell ran around with the ball quite a lot. But yeah, it didn't really seem to work until the second half, where we started to go really direct. So you kind of lose them flair players because they're not really used in that sense. You want your two big men up front. You want your two midfielders chopping everything up as they did today in that second half. So it is really sort of what you got. So I can understand why he isn't playing. But, you know, it's a shame that we can't play ball on the floor, and we can't be the sort of the attractive football team on the deck that we have been, because I think he'd flourish in that sort of team. But we ain't that sort of team at the moment. So he might just have to wait until next year for that to happen. But yeah, I mean, it's a shame. He's a really good player, but I kind of understand why he's not starting games and maybe playing in certain fixtures.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough for him in a relegation dogfight, where I do feel our strengths will be pump it long. I know it's a bit unattractive at times, but when you know your best players are the ones that can hold it up and make a little bit of magic work up top, you've got to get it to them as quick as possible. Or it's through set pieces from someone like Kevin Danso.
Long throws, like Matt's saying about the ball being chucked in a box. No defender wants Kevin Danso launching that ball in the box. I mean, you've seen it so many times this year. Defenders fucking hate it, and it's become a certain way of playing. And unfortunately, we have to keep doing that, whether it's free kicks, goal kicks, dead ball situations. It's all just got to be pumped in the box to your big men. I mean, I didn't think Solanke was that great today, to be honest. I thought he went missing quite a lot in games. His touch wasn't there. He misplaced a lot of passes. I mean, if you can get him and Richarlison firing in that department of winning flicks and doing the dirty around there, I think you're all right. But if they're off it, then the whole long ball thing sort of goes out the window, because they're sort of your target men, you know?
Yeah. Well, I guess then, Matt, I'll put this to you. Does Kevin Danso stay in the team? When we talk about Romero's and Van der Ven's, and when they come back, is Danso one that now has to stay in the side?
Yeah, look, yeah. Thing is, Van der Ven and Romero are still two class acts, and we're going to need them. I would potentially have Van der Ven at left back and go Romero and probably Danso centre halves, if I'm honest. Radu's going to be the one that has to drop out. I know he's good in the air today, Radu, but I would potentially go with a natural.
Matt, I'll be honest with you. I thought he fucking stunk today. Dragusin.
No, mate. He won a lot of balls in the box, though, Kev, like header-wise. He did.
Yeah, but he is everything he was before he got injured. He has no confidence in his play. He's what I was saying about Vicario when the ball comes to him. He's got no natural ability to get out of his feet and play. He looks like a player who is in fear of the football, and we can't have players like that. I know we've got to play him because of the situation we've got with the two boys being out today and the concussion shit and all that, and he had to be thrown in today. But he is one player who fucking really, really isn't good enough to be at our club. But I'll get your point. I had to get that in about Dragusin. I did say I wanted to say it when we come on here. I'm glad you give me that moment for putting in, but he was really, really poor today.
I'm with you. I think Radu's our weakest link at centre half, and I honestly would go probably Van der Ven left back now. It's centre back. He doesn't win no headers, mate. Yeah, if people are going to throw long balls and crosses into our box, you want people going to get on the end of the ball. Yeah, and I feel like Danso always does that. He always throw his body there. He's a player that you want. Him, Richarlison, Archie Gray, even Tell to some point. Yeah, Poro, you want these players that are going to get you out of this shit. Yeah, and I think Danso's one of them. And I think Spence is one of them as well, man. I thought Spence actually played well today. But I just think we need a natural-sided left-back.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, Sousa, what did you think of him, TJ? Did you think he did all right? I mean, he started lively.
Yeah, I thought, like, again, playing in, he ended up in a positions that I wouldn't expect him to be in, to be honest. Like, I see he come across midfield, like, centre of attack at some points, and he kind of got on the end of the ball there, and obviously had that shot and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. He's again, it's a guy who's potential for the future. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's hard to be critical of him because he's 19 as well. He's come over from Syria and Brazil, and now he's playing in the Premier League. Like, and they're totally different, like, sports basically. But when he has played, I thought he's had, again, flashes of like something that could be good about him. But until he gets a sustained period in the team, like playing in a certain position consistently, it's hard to really know what he's going to be like. But for what I have seen of him, and given how bad we have been as a team in general, I thought again he's been okay. I don't think he's done anything where he's really hindered the team. I don't think he's contributed to any like major errors that have cost us games or goals or like the way he sets up in set pieces and defends. There's not really much I can kind of like criticize him for at the moment, and the bits I have seen of him have been good. So that's kind of where I am. I'm kind of like, like on a scale of 1 to 10, he's probably getting a 6 at the moment because he's just doing what he needs to do. With the odd little flash in the pan, like. But again, looking forward to seeing. I keep talking. Do you know what it is? And this is something I don't know if you boys feel like it. I keep talking about this period that we're in as if it's transient, like it's going to change at some. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like all Spurs fans feel like this, that we're kind of in this period with Tottenham where we're like, this isn't us. We're kind of in a zone, and we're all in this zone together, but we know that it's going to end at some point. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know if that speaks to you boys.
No, I think that is it. You're almost hoping it just. Yeah, you're hoping it just.
Like I keep talking about us like this, like in this period, this is what we're like, and then I keep thinking, but when we're back to normal, do you know what I mean? Like that's kind of the way my head looks at performances at the moment. I'm kind of looking at everything through the telescope of we're in a relegation battle and this isn't normal. And I don't know if I'm right for thinking that, or I need to wake up a bit and realise that Tottenham are where we are because this is something that could happen very often, and that latter bit scares me a little bit. So that's why I'm a little bit like a bit airy around some of these performances. It's because I'm waiting to get back to normal so that I can properly watch everything, like when everything's ticking. But then like I said, some people might be like, mate, that's just not us anymore.
Yeah, I think we all feel like that because it's alien to us. It's alien to us to what we are at the moment, and we don't really know what the fuck's going on. It's like having a bit of a fucking bad drug and you're on a fucking trip, and you want that trip to finish to get back to normal because that's what it feels like to me. It's like in a weird bubble of like what the fuck's going on, and this ain't normal, but we'll be okay. I mean. I'm at the point with usage where I don't really know what's going on, and I'm sort of just taking it week by week. But the performances I've seen of late, and what you read and everything else, it's like, and the way the board have acted this year, you sort of realise that we're kind of in the shit. And it's probably the fear of if we do go, will we ever be the same again? I think Matt said that in the group chat. He doesn't think we'll ever be the same again for a long time. So that's the fear of it. But yeah, like you. It would be nice to finish in May and go, do you remember when we was all shitting ourselves in around about February, March? And we can all listen back to the pods and laugh about it. I hope that does happen, but I can't really tell yet, like you, where we are with it. If it is just a fucking mirage or it's Tottenham for you, isn't it? You just never know.
I think we all think like that, but then I think, what is normal now? What is normal? We finished 17th last year.
That's not like
16th. Like, is this us now? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is normal? We're like so numb to everything right now. We don't even know what normal is.
But is it like because we are seeing, and I've called it out before I did it a post on the Insta when it happened. Is it because we're run by fucking idiots? I've got to be honest. Like this Vinay is the biggest fucking mug I've seen going. He's now putting all the shit on Levy after sitting with him, bigging him up in fucking interviews at the start. Obviously stabbed him in the back, chucked him out. Now it's all Levy's fault. Now they're talking about how we've got to sustain money and, the financial fair play. We've got to be a bit more savvier than they thought because we've been acting at losses and whatnot because Levy wasn't really highlighting where the money was. Like that, again, I know we've been doing this podcast for 5 years and we've spoken about Levy a lot at that time because he was the face, he was the figurehead, he was in charge of the purses in many ways, but these lot are even more deluded than this guy. And I think until they understand that Tottenham Hotspur is a football club and not a business, that's where the problem is. And that's when we'll either know whether this is the norm or, that they've actually bucked it up. Because it doesn't need, it needs money, it needs finance, anything does, but it needs smart recruitment, good scouting, bringing through the youths. I hate to fucking mention those down the road, but they're seeing that. Today, social was ablaze. because they got a 16-year-old that scored a good goal because he's talented. You know, before that, they've got players that they bring through. We've got to do more of that. We've been talking about Luca Williams-Barnett on here for 2.5 years. You know, when's he going to get a game? Do you know what I mean? Like, I know we're in a tough time, but this is what needs to change at this club. Getting a manager in who's going to be able to manage and be the manager is key, but they need to realize that this is a football club, because if they don't, this will be the norm, and we'll either fuck up or we'll just languish in a black hole, if I'm being totally honest. So it's tough. It's tough. And you know, reading that stuff from that Vinay the other day, I was just like, you just sound shit. You've tried your hardest with PR spin. That Joanne Lang came out in January and went,
blame shifter.
Yeah, massively. They did it all, you know, made it look like, oh yeah, we're coming in, we're going to be transparent. You know, like when you get a new shitty owner at a company you work for, and you know, I can see through you. I can see through your bullshit. And you're just saying shit. And I can see it there. And they thought their PR spin would help a little bit because we got the Europa League, and they thought Frank would come in and do the job. Frank wasn't a bad manager. He's just not the right manager for this club. This club is too big for him. And whoever they need to bring in needs to be the manager. This fucking head coach bollocks. It ain't for me, man. Because again, hate to fucking mention down the road, but they've invested in that fucking Arteta, and it's coming up trumps now for them, and it fucking annoys me. We need to do that. We had that with Pochettino in many ways. So
I feel like apart from Chelsea, I've said this loads of times on this podcast. Apart from Chelsea, you don't really see success at football clubs without longevity. Like the only place you see it is Chelsea, where they just chop and throw money at everything, and that's why they won titles over the years. But realistically, if you look at any successful team that's had a successful period in the Premier League, again, like you got like your Leicester, which is a one-off, and your Blackburn, which is a one-off. But ones that have had sustained success in titles and football seasons have always been clubs that have had a manager that's been around for a while.
Yeah,
always. Yeah. Listen, don't try and change like winning formulas. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't try and reinvent the wheel. Like, if this is something that's going to happen and it works, and it's proven to work over decades. Like, this predates the Premier League era. What I'm talking about, having like a successful manager in place for a long time. So if that's the case, why are you trying to reinvent the wheel, like, and just chopping and changing managers the moment something doesn't work? Like, it's like we said, we've gone from sacking managers for finishing 5th in a season to keeping managers all season when we're languishing just above the relegation zone. Clearly, something has changed at this football club, where the mentality and the expectation levels of the board and what they're trying to achieve is not syncing up with the fans anymore. And that's the problem. Like, we talk about it every week on here, and I'm sure fucking people just are bored of hearing it. But there's a systemic issue at Tottenham at the moment, and that issue starts at the top and works its way all the way down. And I don't care what people, when they come out and say we've got to tighten up for PSR, it's all bollocks, because we know the finances, they literally get published for every club. And we know that we're one of the lowest spenders in terms of wages. We know that we're one of the highest season ticket prices. It's all on fucking paper. Anyone who wants to see it can see it. So don't sit there and fucking piss in my pocket and tell me it's raining. Do you know what I mean? Like I fucking know what I'm looking at. Like, we all know what we're looking at. Don't sit here and tell me that we ain't got the money to spend. We fucking have. Like, financial experts have gone on record to say that Tottenham are underspending in terms of PSR. So, like, if that's the case, it is clearly a decision up top, a business decision to maximize the margin on profit. Yeah, that is what's going on. So,
and they just,
it's bullshit. We don't buy it anymore.
No,
we're Tottenham fans. We don't buy your shit anymore. Fucking fix it, because that's why we are where we are.
Yeah, they've took their eye off of the football club and enhanced the business. It needs to be the other way around, and then everything works, because the business is going to be sustainable now because they've made this complex. But the football club,
but Lee, it isn't though. This is the problem. It isn't though, because they've banked on Tottenham being a Premier League team.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. That has to be the top.
Their whole business model is banked on Spurs being a Premier League football club. If we go down and all of a sudden everything takes a hit, you think people are paying 1,100 quid a season to watch us in the Championship?
Not a chance.
I mean, listen, we're diehard fans. Like, you know, a lot of us are gonna fucking like, if they make us swallow it, we probably have to. But realistically, like, I probably out of spite would throw it back my season ticket if they tried to charge me 1,100 quid in the Championship. Just out of spite, the fact that they think they can do that. But so like you're gonna lose everything. Match day revenue is gonna fucking half. Your commercial revenue is gonna like fall off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Literally, like TV revenue compared to for Premier League and European football compared to the Championship is fucking again different league.
Night and day.
Yeah, like there's no point. So their business model, this is what they forget. Like, or maybe they don't, but this is what I think they forget: is that the football is the main fucking like the mainstay, the heart of that business. If the football crumbles, what are you left with? A stadium that fucking shows Beyonce once a year. Piss off. Like, honestly, come on. Like,
no,
at the end of the day, don't forget what made it what it was. Don't fucking neglect that part, and that's the bit they need to fix.
I agree, mate. Great way to put it. We've got to look now to what is a big week. It's the Champions League, and look, the diehards in us still are going to go thinking into that game. What if we get three? What if we get 3 goals? Matt, do you have any interest in this at all? And do you think it will benefit or hinder if we get through and do a miracle result?
I didn't have any interest, but the point today is kind of giving me a little bit of interest. I am going anyway, but I think I think we'll win on the night, but go out. I think we'll win on the night, but go out. Champions League, like what I'm going to try and say is the Champions League is one of them moments, like magical moment things. Yeah, so if we score early in that game, you never know what's going to happen. Are Spurs going to win the Champions League? Not at all. We're not going to win the Champions League. The Premier League survival is the one. But I feel like with the point today, I think it's important we go and put out a good performance on Wednesday night to keep that morale going up.
Yeah, I think if we get a positive result there, you can only go into Forest next week with your head high and think, fucking hell, here we go. We've turned it around. Kev, Forest at home. I mean, we know we've got to win. Looking at them, they got another point today. Looking at what they've been doing in Europe and whatnot, what do you think, or what do you expect from that game next Sunday, which is almost it's our cup final in many ways.
Oh, mate, huge game in terms of the situation at the moment. I mean, you're going to get a team that's going to come and fancy it against us. You know, like Matt's saying, I mean, I won't get too carried away in terms of do I think the point is going to, you know, sort of make us suddenly fucking play better and be a different side over the next couple of games. I can't guarantee that. I'm not confident in saying that. It certainly does help in a way of going into that game. I mean, the Madrid game we could probably do without. It'd be nice to prepare a week for this one, I think, in terms of to set ourselves up for it. But yeah, I mean, this game is. I mean, I never thought I'd say the word 6-pointer when it comes to our football club in terms of being down the bottom, but it really is that. Problem we've got is that every team comes to us now and they fancy beating us, and Forest will treat that cup final just like we will. It's nice to have the home advantage, but we haven't really had a home advantage this year in terms of that. So I don't really know how much that favours us. It is just going to be about heart and desire and Tudor getting things right in terms of what players he plays, and if he wants to play Championship manager like he did today and fucking go from different formations and move players around. I mean, at one point today, I couldn't work out where fucking people were going. It was a bit all over the shop. He obviously knew what he did. I bet Matt probably knew what he was doing. It was like Matt was fucking directing it from his bedroom.
3, 1, 1, 2, 3.
It was all over the fucking thing. But I mean, he has to get that right. But I just need the players to. I mean, I don't know what point, or they must be at the point now of, you know, to realise how much shit we're in, and you've really got to fight for it. I think what was nice today is that you saw Tudor when he got that point, he fist pumped the fucking air like he's won a fucking cup final. He knew how big it was in terms of the results that have gone this weekend, and he obviously probably didn't fancy us getting anything today. So it's put something in them. It's just how much they can take that into the Forest game and realise just the maximum responsibility of the game, and we have to be better in terms of how we play. We've obviously got players back for that game as well. So, I mean, Matt always talks about the atmosphere, and it does have to be a cauldron of hate for Forest. We have got to cheer every tackle. We've got to do this. It's got to be that game. You know, if you were spoke to me before this game, well, I spoke to a guy in the week who I go with, and he said, "Are you going Forest?" And I said, "I won't go if Tudor's in charge." But we've got the point. And now I want to go, but it's that thing of going back. I was going and thinking I have to be there. It's that important. It's that much of a cup final at the moment. I have to be there, and yeah, it certainly ain't gonna be an easy game. It never is with Spurs, but I just wish them players knew how important this game was, because every single supporter will win that stadium, and it's vital we win. Vital.
Do you know what, though, Kev? I think the players kind of do know how important this game is.
It took them a long time, though, Matt. I don't think they have.
I think that Forest game, they know that's like a cup final, right? And I know there's a lot of noise on like social media about building an atmosphere before that Nottingham Forest game, because that is a 6-pointer. That gives us a chance, if we beat them, to go 4 points clear of Nottingham Forest with a much better goal difference. Yeah, that there gives us that massive cushion, and then we have to do the same against Leeds if we're still in that same position. Yeah. But look, listen, I know it's embarrassing, but it'd be more embarrassing if we get relegated. But I've heard this stuff going down, mate. From 11:30, people are going to be on that fucking high road, letting off flares and everything. Like, they're literally pumping up a massive atmosphere before that game, cheering the bus coming in. Because if we can't beat them on the pitch, we're going to have to get the result off the pitch to force that result. And I honestly believe that, because them players could crumble under that. Yeah,
Matt, you know what it is, Matt? What I worry about is that we've done this in previous games where we've put the gangways, everyone's fucking going mental, going up the stairs, and it gets like that. And then when we get in there, things go wrong in the first 10 minutes, and everyone just sort of fucking dies on them. And
you'd rather go out and fight, no, Kev. You'd rather
I know,
go out and fight.
My issue is, have they fought as much as the supporters have given that platform of, yeah, let's have a protest, let's get going, let's fucking make noise in there, let's do this and let's do that. And they go out on the pitch to players and they don't give it back to you. And I think that's what the problem is. I think we just need an introduction of a game like that, where the fans are going to do that, and just have a solid performance around it and beat someone comfortably. And then I think after that, that's your springboard then to go on and win the games against Leeds, Brighton, Wolves away. I mean, there's so many tough games coming up with people around us, and we kind of need that. Yes, I do think it's mad that we're going to have to cheer the team bus in at home to Nottingham Forest when we're down the bottom. I do think I kind of get why people do it. It ain't for me in that sense. I'd rather just go in there like a normal supporter and fucking cheer them on in that way. But to have to do that is quite sad in a lot of ways. And I don't mean sad as in the people are sad doing it. I think it's a sad situation that we have to do it in terms of where we are.
100%. So, do you know what, I'm at a point now where I think people need to put their egos and pride aside. It's not even about the players on the pitch now, yeah? I feel like us fans need to do it for the badge. And once we're safe, we can then vent and anger, our frustration as much as we want to the end of the season. But until that point, we need to get safe. And I feel like we just back that badge, yeah? And at the end of the season, like when they're doing their walk around and stuff like that, we can all boycott that. We can anger and see what the board are going to do. Do you know what I mean? But this moment in time, it is fucking scary. And we have to get safe. And if it means we've got to mug ourselves off to do it, I'd rather do that than being a bigger mug than getting relegated.
Well, this is it. TJ, I mean, what do you think about it all in that sense?
TJ's going to go Forest. He's going like THFC on his cheeks and fucking all stuff.
Hey, do you know what's funny? Like, obviously, I don't know if I posted it on the socials, but I come across that video from 10 years ago, Kev, the one you put in, and it's Spurs at Europa League knockout stages against Dortmund. And do you know what's funny? I remember the conversation me and Kev had when we drew them. Just when we drew them, we were like, yes, fucking Dortmund, we've got to go. Biggest fucking game we've ever played. Bear in mind, this is like 2016, 10 years ago. And me and Kev were like, we were not missing it. We're like, this is the biggest club we've played in our lifetime at the moment. We're going to watch Dortmund. Like, we're going out there. And then we saw it, and then the videos, and obviously there's that fucking famous one of me standing on the scaffolding, like, my arms out. I don't know what the fuck I thought I was. But it's more about before the game, everyone's like this, like what you're saying. They're letting off smoke. They're letting off all the balls are fucking going everywhere. Pints are getting chucked. Everyone's well up for it. It's a proper unified thing. And this was away at Dortmund. We got hammered 3-0. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, everyone was fucking on it because it was a big, important game against a big opponent. At the time, Dortmund were they were one of the best teams in Europe at the time. And for us to have drawn them and we were sitting there thinking we're gonna it's the biggest game we could go to. That's kind of where we're at mentality wise with the team that we're playing. And whilst I fucking hate this and I've disagreed with Matty so much over this, but what he's saying is right. Really, you've got to go out there and put it all into the atmosphere. You've got to make it a cauldron again. You've got everything on that pitch needs to feel electrified by the power in the stands. And that's something that we need to bring. And trust me, it makes a difference. The problem I have with this is exactly what Kev's already alluded to, is that the players have got to feel that from the off as well. Because the thing we've struggled with this season is being able to start quick. We've been such a slow starter this season in general across games that we're almost playing catch up by the time our performance kicks in. And I mean, you saw that today. I feel like if we'd started from the off today, we probably would have won today's game. I thought we were a better team for definitely for the second half.
I agree.
Do you not think they'll feel that if the fans were out there cheering that bus in for once? Like we've never done.
Like Kev said, we have done this before. Maybe not to the extent where we're going all fucking scarce and tapping windows on buses and shit. But I mean, come on, chucking flares. Didn't they beat up their own bus once or something? Fucking honestly,
gone all scouse.
So, you know, they're all fucking parading in the streets and they're like, oh, fuck off.
Partying in the white all till midnight on a Sunday night again, eh, TJ?
Oh yeah, mate. If we fucking get a result, I'll be out. Don't worry about that. But listen, but it is. You have to get behind it. You have to build it. But the players have got to fucking know that as well. And I don't just mean know it because we're doing it. I mean they need to know that they've got to start fast in this game. And if we score the first goal, that atmosphere will continue the whole way through. But I'll tell you now, if we go fucking 1-0 down, or Vicario's had to save 3 shots in the first 5 minutes, the atmosphere is going to go the other way. And whether that's rightly or wrongly, Tottenham fans, whatever you want to say about Spurs fans as a whole, that's just how it is. So listen,
I want to that home thing you're talking about. I know the argument is going to be we're in a stadium. A completely different stadium compared to a Nottingham Forest or a Leeds, where it's their old ground and it's small and it's intimate and everything else. But if in this situation, this Forest game, if this was at Forest or we was playing Leeds or we was at Leeds, they would make that a fucking horrible place to be in terms of the magnitude of the game. Now, I don't think that stadium is built for that, and I don't think the clientele. I mean, if this was in the old White Hart Lane, I think you get what you're asking for in that sense. But we have done it in previous games against Arsenal and other games. We have made it like that. But I think it's what T said earlier. It's do people realise what shit we're in? And, you know, do we want to leave it to the last couple of games of the season and then decide to do it when we can do it now, win a few games, and then maybe pull away from it and have a nice fucking chilled May? Who knows? But it does need to be like that. And I wish that stadium could bring that. I just think it's quite difficult to do it. But if they've got to go all scouse and hit the windows and all that for it to happen, then I'm up for it. I won't be tapping the windows, but if it was up to me, I'd be throwing a fucking brick for it the way they've been fucking playing this year. But if that's what it's going to take for us to pull away and not be relegated and not have that humiliation, then I'm all game.
Well, this is it, lads.
Lee, one other thing I'll say, right, and I've been saying it for the last 4 or 5 games, yeah? We need 3 wins. We've needed 3 wins since we've had 13, 14 games left. We need 3 wins and we're gold. And that point today doesn't change that total. 38, 39 points see us safe, in my opinion. You've got to get them wins. And if you get them against Forest, Leeds, Wolves, or Brighton, you know, this is also hindering teams around you. So for me, games like the Forest game, they are the biggest games of this season. And again, no one wants to hear that because of where we have been in the past 10 years. No one wants to fucking know that. But that's the truth. This is the biggest game of our season against Forest at home. this weekend.
We beat Forest. We beat Forest on Sunday as well.
Yeah, I think we do as well.
Yeah. I think we're all in agreement there. I think, listen, it's all about now this week. Let's take a good energy into Atletico, regardless of what happens with it. Like Matt said, we get something out of that, it just spurs you on again. Like, you know, it is a bit of a free hit, but at the same point, it needs to be a momentum hit. So we move on and we get Forest on Sunday. It's going to be huge. Lads, it's going to be fucking huge. It's going to be very, very exciting to talk back on the pod after that game. And I hope you enjoy it. I'll be watching on the box this time, but I really do hope that you guys get down there and enjoy it and the atmosphere comes off it, and that can be, forward a process and a progress on what has happened today, because there was a lot today. Yeah, as much as, I heard Carragher say about Liverpool, we had to go out there today and we had to go away today and show them what was what. So, it's a good vibe.
Surely, I enjoyed that because obviously I don't know why they have that cunt on Liverpool games because it's a bias for you, but he couldn't wait to stick it into Tottenham and say how shit they were and all that. So then to go and nick a point against them, for him then to flip it round and go, oh, actually Spurs deserve it and Liverpool have been shit and all this sort of thing. I enjoyed that moment because I had to listen to that cunt slag us off. And rightly so, he's got some points because we have been, but he wrote us off too early in that game and to nick a point against a team that he obviously fucking loves and adores was great.
Yeah, brilliant. Lads, it's been a pleasure. Been a pleasure to all be together. We'll be back next week. Let's hope that we are in the Champions League quarterfinal. You never know. And more importantly, 3 points up. I know we don't all want it, but if it was there, you never know. You never know. The main thing is 3 points against Forest, and it's good. We all believe it. Let's keep believing, Yids. We'll be back next week with the Spurs. Heart Now Here, Spurs Fans Podcast. Get behind them wherever you're watching it. Let's fucking make this happen. See you next week. Come on, you Spurs.